I'm Keith Howes. I was featured editor for London's Gay News from 1976 until 1979. Religion, spirituality. What was the place of religion and spirituality in Gay News? Well, as far as the staff were concerned, we could be anything we wanted. We could believe in anything or nothing. We had members of staff who wore crosses around their necks. We had members of staff who were totally and completely atheistic. I was probably balanced in the middle. I'm very open to all kinds of belief systems. I'm very interested in religion, but I am not religious. Now, as we know, Gay News became famous, notorious even, because of religion, which is interesting, isn't it? Because our only mantra was gay is good. However, throughout the paper's history, we have included articles about the church and about how religion perceives gay people. Unfortunately, our focus was rather narrow. It tended to be mainly on the Christian religion, although we did have articles on being Jewish and gay, and we had one article from India on the spiritual beliefs of Hindus and Buddhists. Gay and lesbian people viewed religion in very many different ways. In fact, through the full spectrum, from total belief and love for a particular creed to a complete hatred of all religions. The Gay News was an independent newspaper for gay men and women. It was our job to reflect all parts of life, all belief systems, and we did, up to a point. We would perhaps not have been too keen on Satanism and certain religions, which I won't name here because I don't want us to get into any trouble, but I think some of you know the sort of religions I mean, that have a very high profile and are very litigious. We wouldn't go in for that. Of course, ironically, we ended up being sued because we so-called defamed the Christian religion. That's another story. But I want to tell you about someone who's a bit of an unsung hero. His name was Reverend Peter Ellers. Reverend Peter Ellers was an Anglican. His parish was Thaxted in Essex, which is near Cambridge. It had already had a reputation for being, shall we say, rather radical, a bit socialist, but the parishioners had no idea what they were in for when Reverend Ellers came with his wife, 4 children, dog, cats, rabbit and hens, because Reverend Peter Ellers was somebody that listened to all his parishioners and wanted to bring in elderly people, disabled people, lonely people, marginalised people. He also listened to Anglican priests who were gay. And in 1976, he organised a meeting called Gays and Christianity. And after that, a new organisation was formed. It was called the Gay Christian Movement, and he became its first president. And during one of the meetings, he came out as gay himself. So here we have this Anglican minister with a wife and 4 children coming out as gay. This caused tremendous ructions, and actually those ructions are still being felt today between those that think homosexuality, particularly homosexuality of priests, is totally wrong in a religious setting, and those who feel that people should be able to express exactly what they want to do. Reverend Ellers went on to appear in a television program called The Lord is My Shepherd and He Knows I'm Gay. And unfortunately, he made a remark which his parishioners in the main did not like, in which he said he did not like touching his wife in bed. He also skipped down the aisle of the church in his robes in a rather camp fashion, and some of his parishioners felt this was not the image. Worse, the Gay Christian Movement thought it was not the image for the Gay Christian Movement, and Reverend Peter Ellers stepped aside, shall we say, but I think he was probably pushed. He did a lot. He was a good man, he was a kind man, and he did believe that actually the Christian religion should be put into practice, which means love thy neighbour as thyself. Reverend Ellers developed a brain tumour, and he died in 1986, his wife looking after him for 3 years. And I think one needs to look at people who do espouse religion and are gay and have got into marriages for all sorts of reasons. And the wife or the husband is the person that has to really cope with the fallout from this situation. And what was private to this marriage suddenly became very public because Peter Ellis went on television and gave an interview to Gay News. How did I feel about interviewing priests? I felt strange about it because often I felt they were trying to twist what the Bible was saying into sort of gay liberation language and thought, which didn't really suit it, because you're looking at something that comes via translation, of course, from a very different time and a very different geographical part of the world. So I was always slightly uncomfortable with these very well-meaning liberal priests. There was one, a strange one, from Paris, a pastor, the pastor of Paris, as our headline had it. And he was a Freemason, and he said that Freemasons in France had no problem with gay members at all. But a few years after my interview, this priest was found murdered in strange circumstances. Religion and Gay News was crystallized by a regular series called Our God Too. Think about that title, Our God Too. That was the Reverend Jim Cotter, who was he was attached to Cambridge University, one of the colleges at Cambridge University, and he wrote a column every fortnight, which was basically saying, look, we are flesh. We do have feelings and desires. We're not totally spirit and soul. And this is a problem, I think, for gay Christians and gay Muslims and gay people who espouse any religion or who were brought up in a religion, to deal with the fact that we are flesh and spirit, and that one cannot command the other to the exclusion of the other.